My name is Mary, I am 21 years old. From the outside my life looks exciting, even perfect. People see my smile on campus, they see my clean uniform during clinical training. They see my grades, my notebooks, my quiet focus. They think I am a normal university student who is chasing a dream. And that part is true. In the daytime I study nursing in Boston. I work hard because I want to become a nurse. I want to help people when they are scared. I want to be the calm voice in a hospital room. I want to hold a patient's hand and tell them they are not alone. I want to do something meaningful. My classes are tough. Anatomy is like a foreign language. Pharmacology feels like a storm of names and numbers. Some nights I fall asleep on my textbook and wake up with ink marks on my cheek. But I love learning. I love the moment when something difficult finally makes sense. I love hearing my professor say, "You will save lives one day." I love the feeling of becoming someone stronger, someone useful. That is the life I choose. But at night I have another life. A life I never planned, a life I never wanted, a life I hide like a wound under my clothes. After class, when my friends go to cafes, when they go to movie nights, when they sit in dorm rooms and laugh, I often do something else. I take a shower that lasts only 5 minutes. I dry my hair quickly. I put on makeup with shaking hands. I dress in clothing that does not feel like me. I walk out into the city with my heart pounding like I have done something wrong. Then I become another Mary. At night I work as a model. Not a famous model, not a glamorous influencer with a perfect life. Just a girl who stands under bright lights and smiles for cameras while her mind whispers, "Please don't recognize me. Please don't find out. Please don't let this touch my daytime life." My two worlds do not meet. And I work in the second world because I must. If you're wondering why a nursing student would live like this, let me tell you the truth no one sees in my photos. Let me tell you what happened before Boston, before the university, before the dream. I grew up in a small town in Maine with my mom. My dad left when I was little. I don't remember his face clearly, but I remember the sound of the door closing. After that, it was just me and my mom in a small apartment with thin walls and loud neighbors. My mom worked 2 jobs. She tried to hide her stress, but kids can feel stress like cold air. I learned early how to watch her face. I learned when she was tired and when she was pretending she was. She wanted me to have a different life. "Study, Mary," she used to say. "Your education is your freedom." I believed her. I worked hard in school, I got scholarships, I got accepted into a nursing program. The letter came on a rainy day. I ran into the kitchen shouting, "Mom, I got in." She held that letter like it was gold. She cried and laughed at the same time. That night she cooked pasta, and we ate it like it was a celebration dinner at a fancy restaurant. But the next morning, reality came back. Scholarships helped, but they didn't cover everything. Housing, books, transport, lab fees, those things don't care about your dreams. They don't care how hard you worked. My mom tried to take a 3rd job. I told her no. I told her I would work too. She said just something simple, something safe. So I got a job at a coffee shop near campus. At first it was fine. I served lattes and smiled at strangers. I worked late shifts. I studied between customers. I slept 4 hours a night. I told myself it was temporary. Then my mom got sick. It started small, a cough that didn't go away, a tiredness that felt deeper than normal. She said it was nothing. She said she was just overworked. But one night she fainted in the kitchen. I called an ambulance with hands that wouldn't stop shaking. The paramedics asked her questions. She tried to answer, but her voice was weak. I sat beside her on the stretcher and felt my childhood fear return like a shadow. In the hospital, the doctors spoke in careful words. They said her lungs were not doing well. They said she needed tests. She needed treatment. She needed rest. Rest is expensive when you are poor. My mom didn't have good insurance. She had gaps, the kind of gaps that swallow families. Bills started coming like angry letters. I opened them with trembling fingers. My coffee shop paycheck suddenly looked like a joke. I tried to work more hours, but nursing school doesn't care about your problems either. Nursing school demands time, attention, energy. You can't be half present when you're learning how to care for human lives. I started falling behind. I started forgetting things. I started making small mistakes in lab. My professor pulled me aside and said, "Mary, you're usually sharp. Are you okay?" I lied. "Yes," I said, "just tired." That word again, tired. I was tired in my bones, tired in my spirit. Then one day, I met a woman named Vanessa. It happened on campus outside the library. She looked like she belonged in another world. Perfect hair, perfect coat, calm confidence. She asked me for directions. I told her. She smiled and said, "You have a beautiful face." I laughed nervously. "Thank you." She didn't leave. She looked at me carefully like she was seeing something I didn't know I had. "Do you model?" she asked. "No," I said quickly. "You could," she said. "Just part-time, good money, easy." I felt my stomach tighten. I had heard stories, modeling agencies, bad people. Vanessa seemed to read my thoughts. "Not like that," she said softly. "Not anything unsafe. We work with students, brand shoots, small campaigns. It's legal and clean. You set boundaries." I should have walked away. But my mind did something dangerous. It calculated. How much money, how fast, how many bills. Vanessa handed me a card. It had an agency name on it, Northbridge Talent. And below it, a number with a UK country code. That surprised me. "This is British," I said, confused. Vanessa smiled. "Our director is in London. We're expanding in the US. Boston is a new branch, but the company is solid." London. The word sounded far away and powerful, like something that belonged to rich people and big cities and confidence. I told myself I wouldn't call. But that night I stared at my mom's hospital bill and felt panic rise in my throat like a tide. My coffee shop paycheck was not enough. My scholarship refund was not enough. My savings were almost gone. So I called. A man answered with a calm British accent. "Northbridge Talent, this is Oliver." I almost hung up, my voice sounded small. "Hi, my name is Mary, I got your card." Oliver spoke gently. He asked my age, my height, my availability. He asked if I had experience. I said no. He said that was okay. He said they could start with simple work. Then he said, "We pay well, but you must be professional, and you must keep your privacy if that's what you want." I swallowed. "I need privacy." "Understood," he said. "We can use a different first name for you. We can keep you off certain platforms. We can schedule around your classes." It sounded too perfect, too easy. That should have been a warning. But desperation makes warnings look like opportunities. 2 days later, I went to the agency office. It was in a tall building downtown. Clean, modern, quiet. Vanessa met me and guided me inside. I expected men staring at me like I was an object. I expected danger. Instead, I saw a normal office. People with laptops, walls with photos of models smiling in simple clothing, a receptionist, a schedule board. It looked professional. Vanessa took my pictures, simple headshots, no weird poses, no uncomfortable requests. She explained contracts slowly like she knew I was scared. And Oliver appeared on a video call from London. His face was polite, serious, not flirty. He spoke like a manager, not a predator. "Mary," he said, "we're not here to change who you are. We're here to offer you work. The choice is yours." I signed. That is how my second life began. At first it was small. A local skincare brand, a student clothing line, a few hours, a few $100s. It felt like a miracle. I paid a hospital bill. I bought my textbooks without fear. I sent money to my mom. My mom thought I was working extra shifts at the coffee shop. I lied again. "Yes," I told her, "just more hours." She sounded guilty. "You shouldn't have to do that." "It's fine," I said, "I'm okay." Okay. I started living on that word. Soon the modeling work increased. The money became bigger. The stakes became higher. Oliver called more often. Vanessa scheduled more shoots. They said I had a look that brands wanted. A quiet beauty, a serious softness. They said my face told a story. If only they knew. My daytime world stayed clean. Nursing student Mary, kind and focused, always studying. My night world became sharp and bright. Camera flashes, makeup brushes, fake smiles, people calling me by a different name. They named me Mia. It was easier that way. Mary was the girl with a sick mother, a dream and fear in her chest. Mia was the model who looked confident under lights. I learned how to switch between them like flipping a coin. But coins have two sides, and both are still the same metal. The more I lived as Mia, the more I feared someone would discover Mary. Because secrets don't just sit quietly. They grow. And one night my secret began to crack. That night started like any other. I finished my clinical practice at the hospital, changed out of my scrubs and walked across campus with my backpack heavy on my shoulders. The air was cold, and my breath came out in small white clouds. Around me, students laughed, talked about exams and planned their weekends. I felt like I was walking between two worlds already, even before I changed my clothes. When I reached my small apartment, I locked the door and leaned against it for a second. My chest felt tight. I checked my phone. 3 missed calls from Vanessa, 1 message from Oliver. Important shoot, tonight, please call. My stomach dropped. I had an exam in the morning. I had promised myself I would sleep early. I had promised my professor I would be ready. But I also had a hospital bill due in 3 days. I changed into my Mia clothes with slow movements. Every time I did this, it felt like I was stepping into a lie that was becoming too real. I put on makeup, but my hands were not steady. My reflection in the mirror looked calm, but my eyes were tired. When I arrived at the studio, the mood was different. Quieter, more serious. Vanessa greeted me, but she didn't smile the way she usually did. "What's wrong?" I asked. She hesitated. "This shoot is for a UK brand. It's bigger than our usual work." My heart skipped. UK. Yes, the director himself is watching today. I knew she meant Oliver. Suddenly, my two worlds felt closer than they ever had before. The UK connection was no longer just a voice on a call. It was here, in the room, in the air. The shoot was intense. Maury cameras, Maury people, Maury pressure. They wanted emotion, vulnerability, depth. They asked me to look like someone carrying a secret. I almost laughed. After the shoot, Oliver asked to speak to me privately. We connected through video call in a quiet office. His face appeared on the screen, calm and professional as always. "You did very well," he said. "You have something rare, authentic sadness, it shows." I didn't know how to answer. "Mary," he continued, using my real name for the first time, "I know this isn't easy for you." My heart stopped. "How do you know my real name?" He looked at me carefully. "Vanessa told me, and don't worry, your privacy is safe with us." That sentence was supposed to calm me. It didn't. "You live 2 lives," he said softly. "And that's dangerous, not because modeling is wrong, but because hiding your truth from everyone slowly breaks you." I stared at the screen. No one had ever said that out loud to me. "You remind me of someone," he continued. "My sister, she also lived between duty and survival." The word survival hit me hard. "You're not wrong for doing what you must," he said, "but one day you'll have to decide which life is truly yours." After the call ended, I stood alone in the studio hallway. My chest felt heavy, like someone had seen through my skin. That night I couldn't sleep. My exam notes lay untouched on my desk. My phone lay beside them silent. For the first time, I wondered something terrifying. What if my secret was not protecting me anymore? A week later, my mom called me from the hospital. "Mary," she said, "a man visited today." My heart jumped. "Who?" He said he was from a health foundation in London. He asked about our insurance, about your school, about our situation. "London." My hands started shaking. "Did he give his name?" "Yes," she said slowly, "Oliver." The world went quiet. "What did he say?" I whispered. He said someone recommended our case for support, that help might be coming. I didn't understand, but he was kind, very respectful. I sat down on my bed, dizzy. Oliver had crossed a line, or maybe he had erased one. My two worlds had finally touched. And now there was no way to pretend they were separate anymore. For the first time since I became Mia, I felt something different from fear. I felt exposed. And strangely, I felt relieved. Because secrets are heavy. And sometimes when they are discovered, they don't destroy you. Sometimes they set you free. After that call with my mother, I could not breathe properly. My hands were cold. My thoughts were loud. Oliver had stepped into my real life. Not as Mia. As Mary. For years I had worked so hard to keep those two names apart. Now they were standing in the same room. I skipped my next modeling job. For the first time I said no. Vanessa called me again and again. I didn't answer. I sat on my bed and stared at the wall. All the money I had earned suddenly felt heavy. Like it was built on fear. That evening my mom called again. "Mary, are you okay?" she asked. "You sound tired." I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to confess. But my mouth was dry. "Yes, Mom," I said, "just busy." She paused. "About that man, Oliver, he asked if I knew what you did for work. I told him you were a student." He smiled and said, "She is very strong." Tears filled my eyes. Strong. I had never felt strong. I had felt desperate. Afraid. Small. That night I called Oliver. He answered immediately. "Mary." "Why did you go to my mother?" I asked. There was no anger in his voice. Only honesty. "Because she deserves support without secrets," he said. "And because you deserve help without hiding who you are." "You crossed a line," I whispered. "I opened a door," he replied. I was silent. "You don't owe us your life," he continued. "You don't owe modeling your soul. And you don't owe your mother lies." I cried. Not loudly. Just quietly. "I'm tired," I said. "I'm tired of being two people." "That means you're ready to be one," he replied. For the first time that didn't scare me. 2 days later, I went to the hospital to see my mom. She was sitting by the window, wearing her pale blue gown. She smiled when she saw me. "You look thin," she said. "I'm okay," I replied, sitting beside her. She held my hand. Her hands were warm. Familiar. "Mary, there's something I need to ask you." My heart stopped. "Is there something you're not telling me?" I closed my eyes. "Yes," I whispered. Her face did not change. She just waited. "I work at night," I said. "Not at the cafe. I modeled. That's how I paid the bills." Silence. Then her eyes filled with tears. "You did this for me?" she asked. "For us," I said. I was scared. She pulled my hand to her chest. "Oh, my child," she cried. "I wanted to protect you, and you were protecting me." I broke. All the fear I had been carrying collapsed into that moment. "I'm sorry," I sobbed. She shook her head. "No, I'm sorry I let you carry too much." We cried together. Not in shame. In understanding. The next day I went to Northbridge Talent. Vanessa looked surprised to see me. "I need to talk," I said. She nodded. I walked into the office, steady for the first time. "I'm leaving," I said. "Not because you were wrong. But because I need to live honestly." She looked at me for a long moment. "You're brave," she said. "No," I replied. "I'm tired of hiding." She smiled softly. "That's the same thing." I quit. I sold some of the clothes. I paid the last of the hospital bills. I returned to one life. Mary. Just Mary. The money became less. The fear became less too. My nursing studies became my center again. I studied with focus. With peace. Months passed. My mom got better slowly. She smiled more. She slept better. I started volunteering in the hospital. Not for grades. For my heart. One evening I walked past a mirror and saw myself. Not as Mia. Not as a model. Not as a secret. Just a young woman who survived. Sometimes people think freedom looks like success. Fame. Money. But freedom often looks like truth. My story didn't end with applause. It ended with peace. And that was enough.